Okay. I think we're streaming. Um, yep, we're streaming. Let's go.
Trust in a brand new way. For a deeper connection, let's explore on transparent conversations. Transparent conversations, where every word can open doors. Transparent conversations. Yeah, let's
talk about it. Hey, what's happening? This is your boy Calvin, or CPJR, or CPJR 300, or that's it. Hey, welcome to Transparent Conversations, Elevated Exchanges. I am your host Calvin, or CPJR, or CPJR 300, if you feel me. Once again, back on the show, and we're talking about progressives or bust, because at this point we're going to really need to make sure that we're electing progressives, because I don't know, I think we have like one gigantic party and it's a gigantic APEC party, so we definitely need to look at where these candidates are getting their money from, because that's where they seem to have their that's where their loyalties lie. So we have to do what we need to do, and that is elect progressives. So on this show, it's live on YouTube and on Substack, all under Transparent Conversations. And on here, I talk about the perspectives of just the different parties, just really talking about what I see as the biggest challenges that are coming our way, up with this midterm and then with the election. Because basically, since 2025, January 2025, when this regime took over our government, it's been hell since that time. We've gone through everything being blamed on DEI. Everything that's wrong with the world, it's all DEI. So we went through purge after purge after purge of personnel in the government. We had some kind of Department of Government Efficiency, just got rid of departments that we needed, right? We're facing a screwworm epidemic, or screwworms are affecting the cows, something that hasn't been seen in a while, because we had a program in place to fight that, and that program was stripped away with USAID or USAID. So now we have screwworms that seems to be showing up in the cows, because there was a program to sterilize the screwworms, the flies, or whatever you call them, and that was how they had a buffer of them from getting into the country and affecting cows. So that was gone. So now we have to deal with that problem, and now other countries are not wanting to import the beef, but we're stuck with it. And it's a flesh-eating screwworm. It's very disgusting, and it's amazing that we had that in place until this government decided, or this regime decided, that we didn't need government. So we're all gonna start, we have Ebola, measles, screwworms, and who knows what else is coming this way, because we don't believe in science anymore. We don't believe that we should have science when you make decisions on how to keep people safe, how to keep the food supply safe. We don't do science anymore. We're just gonna pray about it and hope everything works out well. So this is my show. Like I said, it's on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Today is Thursday, so I did miss a day. Apologize about that. Actually, I had the show ready to go last night, Wednesday night, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Today's Thursday morning on 6/11. So I decided to just relax, because it's a lot. When you're looking at this stuff every day, all day, it's a lot. It's just like sometimes it seems like it's insurmountable, and this is just how it's going to be. but then you still have to fight, right? You still have to get up and do what you need to do, take care of yourself and your family, and you have to fight. So this is me fighting. And let's keep going over what we're going over. So I just want to talk about like where we are. Like we have from that time, January 2025, we had DEI attack. We had military being attacked. We've had purges in the military. Let's see. We have a ICE, Immigration Customs and Enforcement. They're going crazy. They seem to be doing a lot more than just enforcement for customs. I mean, everything seems to. If you ever need a hidden or a way to grow a force, an enforcement agency that can be stretched, the meaning can be stretched because you can just say they're not a citizens and just attack them. This is that's what you want to do, and that's what seems to have happened. Just approved another $70 billion for them to steal and loot and grift all they can, and all the while enforcing customs enforcement. So according to our friends on the right, if you're here and you have documents, that doesn't matter. If you're here, you're an immigrant, you're illegal, and you have to be driven out, no matter what the circumstances is. If you're here working, if you're here on a visa, maybe you overstayed your visa a little bit, maybe you can't do everything right. You apply for asylum, or maybe you helped the United States in a war over in the country such as Afghanistan, but you're here now, and now you're illegal. Get out. That's basically what we're dealing with. But before you go, we're going to need to detain you for a while so we can get money. We're going to need to put you in these detention centers because they're pretty much just disgusting. Concentration camps, people being tortured, raped, beaten, not getting medicine, trafficked around to different detention centers for some odd reason. In order to, we have beds. We have beds, and these beds have to be filled, and they have to be filled with people so we can get some of them billions. So that's what's happening. We got all of a sudden we went from, it's not a deportation system, it's a detention system. In order to maximize profit, we have to keep people in cages and don't let them eat, or give them the bare minimum of food. I don't know where you buy food with maggots in it, but they've cornered the market. They know where the food with the maggots are, and that's what they're buying, probably for pennies on a pound, and that's what they're trying to feed the people who were just in the country for various reasons. But now you're all illegal, so you have to go to detention center so we can make some money off of you. We got, I don't know, the money is like $200 billion. Who knows how much money they're trying to spend. Also, we will threaten, the federal government will threaten you if you don't comply with one of their illegal executive orders. If you don't want to, all of a sudden your entire state will be nothing but a big fraud site. We have to investigate. We have to cut off all the money to your people, and we're just gonna keep that for a while we go ahead and investigate you. We're gonna charge every one of your officials with crimes. All your officials will be charged with crimes, and then after that. We're just going to go and have a bunch of lawyers going to court and say anything. They're going to lose their licenses eventually, but it doesn't matter because the money still has to flow into our pockets. So whatever needs to be done, we're going to do. If these lawyers are dumb enough to walk into a court and lie to a judge, that's on them. They made a decision. So that's basically where we are. I mean, yeah, so people are getting beat up. Children are disappearing, and this is how it is. We have protests. Protesters getting beat across the head, gassed. That doesn't matter. We have what's going on? What's it called? the FIFA, the World Cup. So people, we told y'all don't come here. Y'all came here anyway, and y'all can't get in the country for various reasons. You may have a visa, that doesn't matter. If ICE and the Department of State decides that you don't people from your country can't come in. Forget that. Forget that we knew you were coming, because you have a visa, and you're part of the football, the World Cup, but you're not coming in this country because we don't want you here. We told you, don't come here. It's not safe. Luckily, you end up in detention. Press it, and you will. So that's what's going on. FIFA's ruined. We have a chance to make things worse because the what's that game called? The Olympics are scheduled to be held here in a year, I guess. I guess you better cancel that. If don't come. You can't come here. We're telling y'all, don't come here. It's not safe. You may end up in detention. That's what I said. So that's going on. We're in Iran still backing up the Israelis in their land grab. So we're running cover from that. We're running cover for the Israelis attacking Lebanon, trying to do ethnic cleansing and genocide again, so they can get more land that isn't theirs. They were in Europe. They were left Europe because of whatever was going on in Germany, the Holocaust. I would want to leave too. They were put into Palestine, and then they decided that this is ours. We're going to call it Israel, and y'all got to go. So that's where we are there. And then we find out, didn't know this was coming. Didn't know our government was completely taken over by Israel. They've been paying them billions of dollars for years and years and years. So anytime you see all the special little laws and anti-Semitic this and anti-Semitic that, and you can't say Palestinian because they get very offended when you say Palestinian, and then they want to kill you or kill the Palestinians. They want to kill something because you can't say that. So we have to act as if Palestine never existed. The Palestinians don't have any claim on the land they were living on, and for some reason we all are afraid of Israel. Didn't know that. What else is happening? That's it, right? So that's where we are, right? So that's what I mean. And then just the regular, the law breaking, the grift, the money, the stock trading, the prediction markets. I mean, any scam, the AI. We gonna talk about AI data centers. Everybody talks about AI is talking about how wonderful it is, but never talk about data centers. Never talked about them at all. You overpromised, said everybody's going to lose their job. Never really talked about how much this stuff costs. And all of a sudden you find out like, oh, well, maybe it's a little expensive to fight all the people that have AI do it. Because people need to eat, drink, they need water. They need some peace. They need some electricity. But, it's data centers. These people who are running these data center scams are like the worst, because I believe that, to me, myself, the way I see it, right? When we play videos, we're talking about data centers. I just wanted to bring everyone up to the point of we're in sheer. One thing I thought the government was always supposed to do, the government was always supposed to keep things steady, stable. You know what I mean? Like, don't let the crazies get in charge of the government, because that's when everything goes crazy. We've seen it over and over again with the Republicans. They can't govern, but we just keep doing it anyway. I don't know how to really protect people from themselves, and the only problem is we live in this country too, right? We try to. I'm an independent, so I like to see things steady. Like, I'm not I'm a progressive. I lean towards that side, but only because I believe in evidence. You know what I'm saying? I don't believe in that we should just give somebody something because of something that's written in the old book. The old book is not admissible in any courtrooms. You cannot make claims to people who don't even believe in your book, right? Your book is fairy tales. Keep it to yourself. And that's fine if you want to keep it within your community. But once it comes out of your community and try to take land or lives, that means you believe the fairy tale and you need to be dealt with, because the fairy tale gonna have you do crazy things. It's not real as far as everyone else is concerned. It can be real in your life. That's fine. But the moment that it becomes real in my life, then it's a problem because I don't believe in your fairy tale. That's how it should work. And that's where we're at now, right now. Everybody knows it's fairy tale. I don't care what you say. Everyone knows it's a fairy tale. And they know that one thing about the fairy tale, I'm talking about the Bible, the Torah, the Quran. One thing you know about those books, right? And the Christian book is the worst one of it because they tell you to go do things. And it says it's supposed to be about love, but it's about a lot more. It's a lot about action too. Things that you have to do. And for some reason, your God is demanding you to do stuff to other people, but the other people have never heard of him. If we all agree upon that's your God, that's fine. But we don't all agree on that. So once your God starts telling me what I should be doing, that's a problem. That's the problem. And that's where we're at right now. Everyone is deciding that for whatever reason, I am allowed or ordained or I've been blessed to do this. And then you proceed to do it. And you know it's full of shit because everything's not done out in the open. Because we didn't have all the information that we had like what? 2 years ago? 2 years ago? 2 years ago, October 7th, everybody believed that, everyone was going to, pretty much the people that were facing the genocide believed it was a genocide. The people that were on the outside, including me, like, I don't know. But it seems to be a bit upset. It's a bit much. You're really like flattening everything. You keep saying that Hamas is behind this person, Hamas is behind this building, Hamas is using these tunnels, and I need to flatten everything. And that's what pretty much has happened. To the point now, it's like now you're on like Lebanon, and you need to flatten everything there too. No one is actually holding anyone accountable to what exactly is happening. And that's what we need to do. That's what's getting ready to happen because the whole veil has been lifted. We keep seeing truth. I did not think that we would be in the point where we are right now with AIPAC. I had no idea. And I've been talking for a long time. I do apologize. The light is green, as you may know. Govern yourself accordingly. So let's go ahead and get started tonight. I want to really just focus on these data centers because we didn't know I worked for AWS and I didn't know there was so many data centers. You know what I mean? Like we just knew the areas. We were aware of this cloud storage, but then really cloud storage and hyper whatever they call hyperscale data centers are completely different, right? Didn't know anything about the hyperscale data centers until now. And I worked for Amazon 4 years, 2020 on up to like 2024, right? Never heard of a hyperscaling data center. We were using AI. They were trying to use AI and try to train AI to do part of our job, but it didn't work out well. And that's when I formed that's not the only time. That's when I pretty much formed my opinion on AI. I mean, it's not very helpful, but it's not going to really take over a job. It could take over, you know what it was? Because we had people who really performed the same as, they operated the way that the AI operated, but they weren't making their metrics. They weren't doing the job properly, right? The AI would just give you an answer, right? Give you a link or an article to try to read, and give you some procedures to try to do, but not really understand if that's the real problem. Like we had people who would just do that too, like take a call, take a chat, and just give you a link, give the person a link, and say if it doesn't work, just call us back. So they would be calling back 2 and 3, 4 and 5 times. AI could do the same thing. Right? It could sort of hear what's going on, come up with an idea based on what you said, and unable to actually learn, like in context, what's happening. Like if it's something that it's a large outage and things that are happening, and it may seem like a one-off event for that one person who just called, AI might not know that and still be trying to fix the problem they think it might be and not be aware of, something that's happening. So that would have to be built into the procedures to make sure that AI is kept up to date as to what's happening somehow. Some kind of feed, some kind of prompts, or the incident manager would have to prompt the AI. But we would all just know and communicate naturally. And we've been through this before. AI forgets or may not have that, in that model, and it may not know how to handle those situations. Until then, it'll get stuck, and then. Maybe next time the LLM, a new LLM comes out, it may know what to do. But for the next 5 months, it's not gonna know what to do. So that's my take on it. But nobody said anything about data centers, right? Nobody. In fact, when you talk to people now, all these guys, Sam Altman, the Ellisons, oh my coffee, the Ellisons, all those guys. They'll say nothing about data centers. Nobody will. The data centers seem to be people over. They don't really address it at all. The people who try to sell you AI don't address the AI problem. Other than we're gonna get these things built. So if it's your first time here, welcome. This show seems like it's gonna be a little different because I'm ranting a lot. But I feel like I need to rant because I don't know if we're all on the same page. I don't think, and that's what gets me the most, right? I don't know if we're all on the same page. I don't know if people are actually paying attention or people actually care. Because we didn't know what we know now, right? And we'll get to that. So let's go ahead and look at some, did I say like, yeah, like, subscribe, and share if you would like. Please, thank you. Tell me, keep this going. So, we're going to look at data centers first, right? The data center thing is crazy because this is the part they will talk about everyone using data centers, and now they're all trying to IPO and get some money as fast as possible because the shine is coming off. The build is due, and it seems that this in order to obtain whatever it is they're trying to obtain. Their goal is really money, right? It's not really trying to automate things, make things better for the world, the country as a whole, or not trying to solve cancer or anything like that. It's to how much money can we make? That's why they're trying to IPO so fast when they haven't really shown any profit, or if this is possible. They're IPOing now. Why? Because they're trying to get the money now before it's been actually proven. There's no companies that are widespread adopting these things. You haven't heard about any good news about is this possibly going to work in the way that they're saying it's supposed to work. There still seems to be more problems than solutions. We're causing problems. They're causing problems, not really providing solutions. And they're saying that, well, go ahead and adopt the solution, and then the problem may change. It may not be a problem. Just go ahead and give us the money now. That's not how it works, is it? There's a lot of stuff going on. These data centers are really the worst, and they're attacking the communities that are at least they're attacking the communities that are least able to defend themselves against it. Like to see where some of these data centers are being built, they're being built on Superfund sites. They're being built in West Virginia, coal mining country. They haven't gotten a break there, and they're a poor community, and these data centers are not going to make their lives any better. They're making their lives worse. So I'm gonna run through these videos as quick as possible so we can go ahead and talk about some other things I want to talk about, because the real big problem, right? We'll get to it. All right, let's talk about data centers and how these data center people, or people that came in to sell these different communities on data centers, met with the politicians. The politicians, you really don't pay attention, right? When you drive around your community, you'll see the signs up for hearings. They want to, when they want to use or develop a town center or something like that, they'll have these posters up with the times and for the zoning meetings. But apparently everyone missed them, except the town, the elected officials. They were all there, and they seem to have just approved everything without checking with the people. And now the people are finding out what's going on, and now they're like, wait a minute, why did y'all approve all this stuff?
This is crazy. I'm witnessing this with my own two eyes right now. I'm back in Michigan, and I'm north of a bunch of data centers. And the water here, all those miles north from where I am, from those data centers, is brown. There's brown water in the toilets, brown water in the sinks, brown data center water. It blew my mind. It blew my mind. It is no myth. And these people have to just deal with that, with their water just being brown. Once again, crimes against humanity. These are basic human rights. Because you best believe I'm going to say stay stinky today because I can't shower in that. No way.
Now I'm looking at that video right now and I'm thinking it may not be real. It may not be real, but there are other stories. I mean, that video may not be real. Because you can't trust everything. It may be AI, it may be fake. But that's what's happening in a lot of places. But she seemed to be not actually. That didn't seem real to me. I don't know. That may be wrong. Let's check out this one.
Did y'all know there are residents in Crowell, Texas who are literally being forced to live with constant artificial daylight because of an AI data center that is being built right next to them? Their nights are just gone. This facility runs 24/7 with intense lighting that turns the sky bright all night long. I'm going to plug in a picture. Plus a non-stop mechanical hum that allegedly never shuts off. And this isn't like just annoying or inconvenient, right? Like it actually messes with people psychologically. Your body depends on darkness to produce melatonin. And that is the hormone that tells you when it's time to sleep. And when it's always bright, your brain gets confused, right? People start dealing with insomnia and anxiety and chronic fatigue, even depression, right? You're basically living in like a constant state of jet lag in your own home. And it's not just humans either, right? Like wildlife is getting completely thrown off too. Animals that rely on nighttime, total dark to hunt or to migrate or to rest, they suddenly don't have that anymore. And what's happening in this tiny rural town is starting to happen all over the country, right? People living near these massive data centers are complaining about the same things, the constant noise and the light pollution and the environmental disruption. Also, AI can run 24/7, I guess, and it's somehow always small rural towns that end up paying the price for it. And so, as a Georgia resident, it is especially important for me to spread this message because I'm really freaking worried that we could be next.
So I'm not really sure if these are real. I mean, the message they're saying is real, but I'm looking at the way they're expressing themselves. I may have gotten duped. That real human first, that tag, that's an Instagram. That's an Instagram feed. It may be, I don't know, going for clickbait. It's a lot of clickbait now in independent media. Like, I don't know, am I clickbaity? I try not to be, but if I am, I do apologize. Because I mean, like, this isn't going to be like, I'm trying to get 1 million views. I'm trying to have a conversation about, these problems y'all seem to be involved, right? They seem to be related. They all seem to be related because they're all seem to be tied to this class of people, they call them the Epstein class now, who seem to be able to do whatever they want to do, and they don't think about anyone else who doesn't live the way they live. Like, you know what I mean? Like, inflation, it doesn't really bother them that inflation. The big beautiful bill was a crime, and that was the Republican Party, and I would say that's the vision for the Republican Party. Now, our dollar, if you have a little money in the bank, you think your dollar's going to be worth the same after these guys get through with us? It's not going to be worth the same. They do not care about our everyday lives, and just what's happening with the data centers kind of shows what they believe. And this next video is gonna be, this is about West Virginia. West Virginia seems to be one of the craziest places, but I know that it's gonna happen there because they've had coal. Coal is gone now. They need something else, and the something else is now data centers. And it's not, the residents are really starting to have a lot of issues. So they've had I played a video last week, and they were having issues with flooding, and none of the people knew what was happening. They just all of a sudden said, "Oh wow, it's a data center next to me." All of a sudden, and then life there has changed forever. And here's the thing that I'm more worried about than the actual data centers. I'm actually just worried about these data centers all may not all may not be completed. Once the land it's a farmland, it's prairie land, it's forest. Once that's done, they're not gonna restore the land back to where it was before. They're just gonna leave that stuff right there.
I'm in eastern Henrico at one of the largest data center complexes to be built in central Virginia. And behind me is a 70-acre tract that was donated and by all appearances received federal tax credits. We paid for this. This land was supposed to be preserved for public recreational purposes in perpetuity. I don't see much public recreation happening, and it's owned by the same people who are developing this data center complex. So the likelihood that the public does get access to it seems pretty slim. And the most frustrating part about it is that Henrico County was fully aware. Henrico's Board of Supervisors were fully aware that there were deed restrictions in this deed, that this land was supposed to be a gift to the people of Henrico. And they permitted a data center here anyway, without ensuring any form of public access. But they might put up a commemorative sign.
So that's a crime, right? Is that a crime? Oh, you gotta find somebody to sue. The lawyers will tell you. It seems like a crime if they didn't know. They didn't know it was coming. So this is the last one on data centers. But it's just a matter of I just wanted to show this one because this is a CEO of a data center or a company that's building a data center talking to the constituents about how much water they're going to use, and it's no big deal. It's no big deal. We'll be all right.
The question was asked is what's the water demand that's going to be required for the 2 units? Currently, we are looking at 4 million gallons a day. Now, I think it's really important when we say that is it is not a facility that is going to take 4 million gallons of water each and every day. We have other customers that everybody knows that are in the community, from wholesale customers to hospitals and other large infrastructure that uses a lot of water every day. Like when a data center is asking us about the availability of water a day, they're talking about water on the hottest day, not a year-round average. So the maximum demand is from each system right now is 4 million gallons. The question was,
so it's like $4 million, 4 million gallons a day. That's okay. Don't worry about it, because that wasn't the question. Every day, it's just on the hottest days they may need $4 million because they have other customers who don't really take 4 million gallons of water, but they have a lot of water they take. Now, this $4 million is just for the hottest days. So that's just an average. So there are going to be days they're taking more than $400 million, but we're not going to mention that. We're not going to mention that because it's not going to be every day. There may be some days they only take 100 million gallons. That's what it's like in Arkansas, right? That's how they're talking to their constituents, because they don't really care about their constituents. All they care about is making that money. And that's watch the IPO on was it Friday? Yeah, tomorrow. Tomorrow the IPO is for going out for SpaceX. It's who knows what kind of company it is, but there's AI involved in it. He's trying to get that money. I wouldn't invest in it, but I'm not going to invest in. I wouldn't invest in him anyway, since he's a racist. So why would I invest in him? I know there's some people of my race who will find no problem when you vote for him. When you vote for a racist, who cares? You're making money. I don't want that energy in my life, so I ignore it, because he's not a good person. So why would I give my money to someone who's not good, knowing they're gonna be bad? Everyone who supported Elon Musk supported Doge, and they supported those men taking our information out of Social Security. They stole the information. Nothing's been done about it. They stole all our data. Nothing's been done about it at all. It's just gone. Nobody's being held responsible. They're not trying to get it back. Did you get a free? Did they try to give you a free? What's it called? LifeLock? Whatever the thing did they try to make it good? The government? No, they just went on working with it because Elon did it. So yeah, I mean, I think a lot of this stuff is coming down to we're learning from everything, even with the situation with Israel, is that when people aren't really checked, they just go crazy. They'll keep getting worse and worse. They'll keep coming after you more and more until you check them, and that's where we are with these millionaires. Like that's why they're opening these data centers in the worst places because they're not going to be able to fight you, right? But I'm shocked at what I see in West Virginia. I'm not sorry, like Northern Virginia. Like those, I never expected they would put data centers very close to houses, but they are because they run out of land and they don't really care about your life or how you live. And on to this next group who no longer cares about your life. So our government seems to be in a really compromised state. Like there's a lot of people, and that's why I call them the APEC party, who are not in government to represent us, the United States citizens. They will represent another country. They say this special relationship that we have. I don't have a special relationship with Israel. I understand that you're Jewish and all that, but no, I don't think we should be supporting your country over the country you live in. You can go live in Israel if you would like to. That's what you should do. But that doesn't mean like everyone in this country does not support giving everything to Israel. We don't support our military being over in Iran right now. You have a bunch of idiots who will lie and say, "Oh yeah, you let the president get this thing done because it's been a problem forever." That hasn't been a problem forever. Israel's been a problem forever, not Iran. Leave Iran alone and see what happens. Oh, they might wipe out Egypt. They may wipe out Israel because Israel will try them. Israel is the bully on the block, but somehow they keep trying to tell us that we're not. And the way they did it was getting control of our Congress, because we're seeing it. We're seeing how their congressmen, Democrat or Republican, Republicans just get away with it more because they don't have to. They don't have to fake it. They just say, like, look, Iran's a bad person. They've been bad for the years. We don't want to get a nuclear weapon. They won't even admit that Israel has the right to exist, right? Unless you say Israel has the right to exist and the right to defend itself, you're not on their side. And I don't say that. Only if I would say that, like I said, withdraw our support and let them deal with the situation that they've created in Israel, in the Gulf, as if they have been an angel in the Gulf. They were there trying to help all the other Muslim nations, right? They want to see everyone live just as comfortably as they live. That's not the case. They're the bully on the block. And they have our government. Their government, more of our officials, receive money from AIPAC and pro-Israel groups than don't. And then when you ask them the question of what we see as a nation, we see and we accept now that is a genocide, right? But they're still arguing with us, telling us that it's not. Don't believe our eyes is what they keep telling us. That's the same thing with the data centers. The AI people, they're doing the exact same thing. We're not supposed to believe that these data centers are a problem, and we need to deal with that. But keep going. Keep going. It's the same situation. People are telling us not to believe what we see, and we have no right to question them. That's not correct. And this is how it happened.
This is an insane statistic. Oh my gosh, man. 76% of our Congress, regardless of whether you're Republican or Democrat, 76% of them are controlled by AIPAC. Oh my gosh, man, this is insane. I have never looked into any of this stuff before. I'm not kidding. I've heard about it a little bit, never really paid that much attention until they took out Thomas Massey. That's when I started paying attention. This is insane. How could anybody be okay with this as an American? And it has nothing to do with which country this is. This should never happen from any country. This is absolutely mind-blowing to me right now. I am sitting here being black-pilled, I guess. I don't know. You guys are watching it in real time. I don't even know what to say. I am shocked. I am absolutely shocked. This is disgusting.
And I had to, somebody said something about Thomas Massey, and I had to look it up. I didn't know that he was really down with it. I thought he was a reformed AIPACer. He's never taken money from AIPAC or voted pro-Israel. He brought up the Liberty, that travesty when Israel attacked one of our ships. He brought that back up and to be investigated in Congress. So he doesn't. Now that he's not, now that AIPAC has put a candidate in there and put enough money behind the candidate to beat him to get his seat. Now his seat was not pro-Israel. Now it's a pro-Israel seat. And we saw how much money they spent. I don't know, like huge amount. I don't know, 30 million, something like that. It's the most money that's ever been spent in a congressional race in order to get him out of that seat. And then now Texas got to deal with Ken Paxton, and then now it's going to be Tellerico. I don't know. Who knows? Because we have, there's a part 2 to that video I'm going to play now too, because it's 76%. Most of the Republicans are done, and the majority of the Democrats. Because when you talk to these people about the issue, the ones that took money from AIPAC, they can't say anything. They just freeze up. And they don't know what to say.
All right, this is just absolutely insane. I mean, once again, we think we comprehend these numbers, we think we understand it, but truly we don't until somebody breaks it down even further. Great work here, Parody Jeff, because I did not comprehend the $3.8 billion in this way until I saw your post. $434,000 per hour. This is insane. I want everybody out there who's a working class member of this society, every time you have to leave your family to go to work and spend all day at work, they're stealing your money so they can send it right over here. So don't think about this in terms of just money. Think about this in representation of the amount of time that you are having stolen away from you and your family so they can send that time over here to places like this. This is insane. $434,000 per hour. I don't even know what to say right now. We're $39 trillion in debt, mind you. Just remember that too.
So yeah, we've been giving Israel like $4 billion a year, and then they turn around and bribe our politicians with it. So they may say no, they're getting the money from AIPAC. So no, there's a lot of rich people that are Jewish over here who give money to make sure that we have pro-Israel candidates. Now, a pro-Israel candidate, AIPAC, is one that we don't even know, thanks to Track AIPAC, we didn't even know who was who. Like I already said that a lot of the Democrats are okay with losing. They don't really, because that's not who they're representing. They're not representing us, right? They're representing Israel. So if they lose the House or the Senate, that's doesn't really matter because they still get to send money to Israel, right? So a lot of the people that we saw with a lot of talk that were stars supposedly in the Democratic Party, no, they were working for Israel the whole time. They could be reckless. They could say anything because they don't really care about winning an election or passing bills. The only thing they want to do is make sure that the right amount of money is always being sent to Israel. And it's like I'm saying, the same thing. It's the same thing that's happening with the data centers and the AI right now. Most of us don't really need AI, right? But they was told to our faces that's going to take all your jobs. And that was supposed to be okay with these people, that they were going to take our jobs and then we were just going to sit around doing nothing. So this is an interesting one because he's supposed to be a fighter. In the first year of Trump, he really came out as a fighter against what we were seeing. But then we have this also.
Look, this bill shouldn't be necessary. It shouldn't be necessary. We shouldn't have to do this. We're not doing this because it's optional. We're doing it because it is necessary. If people stop trying to hurt Jewish kids in preschools, we won't have to build walls around them. If people stop trying to, blow up synagogues, that we wouldn't have to have armed guards at every entrance. But we're seeing all over the country now people going to synagogues to stage foreign policy protests. We see people in the street,
Foreign
Jews in the
policy
street,
protests.
wearing a Jewish star, having to put that Jewish star away, and if they don't, they're accosted. And so look, when I was the former director of emergency management in the state of Florida, in Florida, that was the department that the non-security grant money went through. And so I processed all of the applications in the state of Florida for all of the schools and the synagogues that got this federal nonprofit dollars. So let me say first, I want to thank Congressman Goldman and Senator Jackie Rose for plussing it up, because I always ran out of money. I always had more applicants than I had federal dollars. And so the fact that we're going to increase that is important. And it's no more important now because of the increase in anti-Semitism.
Okay, so what's wrong with this? I can't uncover this. What's going on? What is going on? Oh, wow. Oh. I'm sorry about this. 1 second.
Look, this bill shouldn't be necessary.
I thought I had this set to work properly, but apparently I didn't. Oh, wow. What is that? Are we going to do it like this? Because this is important to my point. This is important to my point. I'm not sure I had it working the other line. I'm kind of pissed off right now.
Look, this bill shouldn't be.
I don't see why this isn't. Ah, there it is. There it is. Sorry. $778 million pro-Israel from pro-Israel PACs and not AI. So what he's talking about right there, right? He's talking about some money he's going to give out. That's where the money's coming from, I suppose. It comes from pro-Israel PACs. So, that's an anti-Semitism thing. He want to protect his people, blah, blah, blah. A lot of other people need protection too, like Muslim kids, black kids. But, I don't know his record. So, if he's up, he's in Florida too. So, that's your man. I'm going to let that go. So a lot of people, a lot of people who we thought were out here doing the stars, we thought were the Democratic stars, actually, are okay with, status quo in the middle, right? I said, we didn't just lose this. Everything that we're learning now was public knowledge, right? It was taken, it was hidden for a reason. And, here we are at war for a reason. What's the reason we're at war? Why are we at war? Is it for gas or is it for protection? Were we in danger? Because I don't think we were in danger though. So this is about the war. This is what's happening in Lebanon. As America sits off the Gulf Coast and has that blockade going on, they have a big force there, right? And while they have a big force there, Lebanon is being attacked by Israel. Why is Lebanon being attacked by Israel? They'll say Hezbollah, blah, blah, blah. But you don't have to blow out. If you're after someone, what is their goal? Because their goal seems to be destruction.
This is the main hospital of the city of Tyre, the principal city of southern Lebanon, essential medical care for tens of thousands of people. And if I can show you over here, this is where Bank Audi stood until just 2 days ago, when an Israeli airstrike completely flattened it. They have not yet said why. You will not be surprised to know that taking down a building there with a massive missile does tremendous damage to this precious building here. And you can see that big hole there is into the cardiac care unit. These first floor windows were all patients' rooms. The whole of the front side of this hospital is now completely out of action, with all the loss of medical care that involved. 4 doctors were injured, 40 other staff were hurt. And here on this side too, covering the car park, was an enormous solar array that powered the hospital. That, of course, now completely out of action, with all the impact you would expect on the hospital's ability to operate. The Israelis frequently justify attacks like this, which, while not directly on the hospital, has obviously had a massive impact on it, by saying that Hezbollah are somehow using it as shelter or are in buildings nearby. But this is a hospital for a city of around 100,000 people, people who get sick, give birth, have heart attacks, need cancer care. It is very hard to see what military justification there can be for depriving so many innocent civilians of basic medical care.
And that's what we see. Like, oh, why did they blow up the hospital in Lebanon? Like, what is the purpose? I haven't heard the purpose of why they have a right. They have a right to do that. Like, what is the right they have to be in Lebanon? And then they're complaining at the UN about the Hezbollah and I think in Houthi using drones to kill their soldiers, as they should. Right? You're in another country. Leave the country, and then you won't have to worry about your soldiers being killed by drones. I don't understand why you're there. Why are you there? Why are we allowing it? Why do every country allows Israel to just kill as many Muslims as they would like? Lebanese, Palestinians, and they're not all Muslims. They're Christians, right? Just heard about a Christian city in Israel that was destroyed because they wanted to, right? They don't have any. I mean, I'm just going by what I see, and I'm shocked that we haven't heard it before. When the news say they were, fair and balanced, all this before, now Barry White's taking over Channel 9. Where were these reports back then? Because this is what's been happening. Why is it like no outlet, ABC, NBC, CBS, that went ahead and really confronted Israel as to what's happening instead of letting it go all the time? How you say they're our ally, but they have nuclear weapons, but nobody can say they have nuclear weapons. Now here's what you're gonna see more and more of, and I love to see it. You have to see it because this is what's been happening, right? Nobody's been confronting these first. I don't know why these people go on Zeto or Mediasan. They know they're gonna get jumped, especially if they're AIPAC.
In your view, is killing 274 Palestinians, including many children, an acceptable price to pay for the freeing of 4 Israelis?
It's an unacceptable price, but I think it's a price that has to be paid.
Wow. If you're saying that to get free people from the clutches of horrible captivity, hostages, people possibly being abused in captivity, to free them, you have to pay a price, right? It's a horrible price. Does that ratio work the other way? How many Israelis can Palestinians kill in order to free Palestinian detainees who are currently being tortured in Israeli captivity, some of them being raped to death, according to the New York Times last week? Can they kill 200 Israelis? Hold on, let me finish the question. Can they kill 200 Israelis to free 4 Palestinians who are being tortured in an Israeli prison?
What I'm trying to say is, if you represent the Palestinian people, you represent the Israeli people, we look at this quite differently. I don't want to
I know you do, which is why I'm asking the question, Congressman. I understand that you see it differently. A lot of people watching at home say, why? Why aren't all lives equal?
Power leaves paper trails. Follow.
I see, that's where we are, right? He's an AIPAC. Politicians. I know you probably may not see this video. I don't have the reach that others do, but if you're red on track AIPAC, you need to know that's coming, right? Know that's coming. Know you're going to be questioned about it. Here's 67,000. Know that you're going to be questioned about it, and we know that when we see that, you're going to be like, what genocide? What? They're just defending themselves. What's wrong? We have to get the nuclear weapons out of Iran, right? Iran doesn't have nuclear weapons that we know of. But then again, I don't know if Israel won't admit they have nuclear weapons. We see evidence of it. They won't even say, no, we don't. They just look at you like you're crazy. That's interesting, right? They'll just look at you like you're crazy. They won't say yes or no. It's none of your business. That's what you get. And I guess that's okay with the whole situation with them. They can have what they want for some reason. And then they've been benefiting because I cannot think of what their biggest industry is. I know they want the oil though. So this is their biggest industry because they do a lot of war and they get a lot of money from us and they get a lot of science from us and they're spying on us. CIA called them the biggest threat to our sovereignty. They're spying on us. And then the administration said, no, they're not. But we know why, right? Because they don't represent us. They're doing their job for their people. And their people aren't us. I tell you what, I'm about to redo this whole thing. Or I need a producer.
Did you know that the tiny country of Israel, which is just 10 million people, about the size of New York City, has become the world's 7th largest arms exporter? And that didn't just happen by accident. For decades, U.S. taxpayers, us, have poured billions of dollars into Israel's military research, and now those investments are paying off. Not for U.S. taxpayers, but for Israeli companies. Their sales have doubled in the last 5 years, reaching nearly $15 billion. So this tiny country exports more weapons than nations with far larger populations and economies, including the United Kingdom. One reason for their success? For years, they have marketed their products as battle-tested. Tested where? In Gaza. While Gaza has been reduced to rubble and tens of thousands of Palestinians have been killed, Israeli companies have advertised drones and missile systems and surveillance technology as proven in real-world combat. Military giants like Elbit Systems and Israel Aerospace, they reported double-digit sales growth last year. Another example you might not have heard of is ASIO Technologies. It helps soldiers, quote, plan missions, navigate terrain, and respond to threats in real time. Their orders surged by 400%. Another company you might not know, Massivit. It used to create giant 3D displays for Hollywood studios like Disney and DreamWorks, but it realized there was a lot more money to be made in killing people. So now it manufactures components for military drones, and their sales have skyrocketed, while the people of Gaza, Lebanon, and Iran pay the price in blood. And the hypocrisy doesn't just stop there. Many governments that express concern about Israel's killing spree, they continue to buy their weapons. India is Israel's largest export market. Germany, the UK, South Korea, Singapore, Morocco, Philippines, all continue buying Israeli military technology. Their speeches condemn civilian suffering, their budgets reward it. We need more countries to follow the example of Spain and Slovenia that have moved to block military trade with Israel. As long as governments keep buying these battle-tested weapons, and of course, as long as the United States keeps funding and arming Israel, the deadly business model will continue to thrive.
I'm gonna be honest with you, right? I do these like 3 days a week. I would love to have a show where I don't do anything on Israel and AIPAC. I wish I could, but I mean, when you hear about the fact that they sell weapons and they sell them that they've been using them for years. You say Iran, Lebanon, and Gaza, and the West Bank. What would be their goal? I mean, like, if you've been fighting these people what would be your goal if you've been fighting them for years? Domination would be your goal, right? Because you're not going to be safe. They're not going to, because those are other countries. They're not going to just give up and let you take them over. And the only reason, but you hear about the other countries that have just been benefiting from buying weapons from them that are battle tested. It's just a sick situation. It's like they get money to continue oppressing the Palestinians, and then they get to sell the weapons that they were using to oppress the Palestinians. That's insane. That is insane. Everybody's in bed with it. So yeah, of course, you're not going to say anything, including England. You're not going to say anything if you're getting a benefit from it. Weapons that have been tested. All right. So hopefully, I will be back tomorrow, and hopefully tomorrow I can do one without. Tomorrow night we'll be talking about the SpaceX IPO and see how that's going. That'll be an indication, right, of if AI is going to crash and burn or it's going to take off into the side. So the next video is about the real tragedy that's happening right now in this country, and the fact that a lot of people are being kicked off the our SNAP benefits. And if you think that people that are being kicked off SNAP benefits are all black welfare queens or whatever little crazy twisted MAGA thought you have in your head, it's not. The majority of people that receive SNAP benefits, food, aid in this country are white Americans.
Did you know that the tiny
That's
country
not
of
it.
It's pretty bad. There really isn't much in there.
Lee Rosen used to get about $260 a month in food assistance. Earlier this year, the 69-year-old Phoenix resident started getting nothing. And he's not the only one.
Nearly 460,000 people in Arizona have been kicked off the federal food assistance program since Congress passed new restrictions last summer. That is a 50% drop, and the problem could get a lot worse.
That's because H.R. 1, also known as the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, introduced strict work requirements for SNAP eligibility and shifted program costs onto state budgets.
H.R. 1 included the deepest SNAP cuts in history. The Congressional Budget Office estimates that the changes in that law will cut SNAP by about $187 billion over the next decade.
For Rosen, that means he can't afford to buy items like meat. For others, it means turning to food pantries, which are already struggling to keep up with increased demand.
Since July of last year when the bill was passed, we've seen a consistent growth of about 10 to 12% month over month, and roughly about 20 to 30% increase of people coming in and needing food from the food pantries and food banks that we serve. About 20 to 30% increase from those individuals year over year.
Once a person gets kicked off the SNAP program, it's often hard to get back on. The Arizona Department of Economic Security canceled Rosen's SNAP benefits when he didn't report $47 that he made working his first and only shift at a discount retail store. When he tried calling the state to get his benefits back, he couldn't get through. Federal funding cuts forced DES to slash hundreds of jobs, and now it can't keep up with the backlog of SNAP applications and appeals.
We're concerned that Arizona may be the canary in the coal mine, and that we might see some growing and much steeper declines in SNAP participation in other states as some of those changes in policy and procedure play out.
I called DES myself to ask about Rosen's case, and a few hours later, he got a call back. All his benefits were reinstated.
So he got lucky. He was on the thing. So yeah, make your podcast, make it known. Because that's like that shows you those in Arizona. White people standing in line. So that was a trick, right? They cut their offices. They cut the offices, the staff. They cut the staff in the offices, and then just start booting people for any reason. And then when you go to talk to them about it, $47 is not going to feed him. The man is 69 years old. They always say the thing about Democrats, Republicans, is Republicans don't want to see one person get food stamps that they don't deserve. Like they went through it, a scam, and got the food stamps. If one person get that, cancel the whole program. But the Democrats, independents, people on the left, kind of like, well, I don't want to see anyone starve. So yeah, you can spend your time trying to find out the people who are committing fraud, but don't starve people who need food. That's just and it's only gonna get worse after January. Now even Lil Mike Johnson, who said it's okay, congressmen should be allowed a little insider trading. Republicans should be allowed a little insider trading because they only make $174,000 a year. Who can survive on that? But this man was getting food stamps and went out and made like $47, and they found out and cut out his whole food stamp as if that was committing fraud. To the tune of, I'm in Congress making illegal trades based on information that I've learned about a bill that's not going to get passed or some regulation that's getting ready to cut their profit. It's okay for me to make that because I only make $174,000, so I should be able to go ahead and do it legal. But this man go out and make a little money on the side, and he lose all his food. That's the Republican vision for America, right? Right? Cut the staff, cut the people off, and then have them fight to get back on, because a lot of them won't be able to, and that's the plan. And have that man who's 69 years old just starve himself to death, or put the pressure on the food banks, because they don't believe that our lives are worth our own tax dollars. Because I don't mind working for someone who needs food. I'm not sitting there worried about someone who needs food, or who may be getting over on getting food, because I don't want to see anyone go starving. But that's not the Republican vision. The Republican vision is let them die. I guess I don't know what that's about. I don't have that. I don't have that in me to do that to other people. But as we see, that's the Republican vision for America. I have one thing. Oh, wait. No. I want to show this tape about on Rubio, because I don't like Rubio. I can't say that I don't like him. I think it's a matter of him just being the person that he is now, right? Hold on one second. I need a producer. Okay. I need a producer. It's gotta be that one. Oh no, it's this one. Yeah. Okay. No, that ain't the one. I gotta fix this. I don't know. I think I missed one. Yeah, I tried to make it without making a mistake, but I definitely did miss one. And I don't know what this is going to be other than to click on it.
Secretary Rubio, welcome back. I want to introduce you to Mary Sunday. After your food aid cuts decimated the World Food Program's ability to feed the Kenyan refugee camp she lived in, Mary's 7-month-old daughter, Santina, died of malnutrition. Before Santina died, you looked me in the eye in this room and you said, "No children are dying on my watch." She was a child. She had a name, a family, a future ahead. Now she's gone. She is one of over 500,000 children who died last year after your administration pulled the plug. Were you lying to Congress when you claimed no children were dying on your watch, or did you simply never bother to calculate the human cost of your decisions?
That number you're throwing around is a false number.
Last year alone, over 155,000 children died from malnutrition as a result of these cuts. You promised more food aid and said there were cuts. You promised America First and said American workers, who you said aren't a priority for you. You said it's not a jobs program. They lost their jobs. You promised strength. Instead, we have lost influence, credibility, and trust. And you promised children weren't going to die. You said that to me right here. Instead, your illegal war of choice with Iran is driving up fuel prices and grocery costs while putting millions more at risk of hunger worldwide. This is not about charity. This is about values. So whether it's negligence or ideology, the result under your watch is the same. So my time is expiring. So I'm going to take these seconds to say, what are you going to do to clean up the mess that you created?
Time has expired.
So right there, Rubio, that's the USAID. They got rid of USAID, and they were feeding hungry people around the world, soft power, and people died, babies died, and they want to say that's not the right figure. That figure is false. But he didn't say like, no, that little child couldn't have possibly died. He's saying you got the wrong figures. I don't know how you live with yourself. And right now with the whole screwworm, that was under USAID. They were sterilizing flies to decrease the chances of screwworms getting into the country and getting into the beef. And now they're here because they cut it out, as they just didn't take a systemic method or a method to really go into the programs at USAID and see if they were fraud. They go see something like sterilization, oh, that's fraud, and just throw it out, not really thinking about that could be some hard science that could be preventing an issue that we may not know about or understand. Let's bring the people in that actually know about these programs, talk about it and then see if they're needed. And obviously, a lot of the programs were needed. And now, as usual, the regimes the regimes at Congress, on Congress Hill, lying as they always have to do. That's just I don't understand why people want to do that job and why you want to just subject yourself to that. But I'm gonna have one more video. I'm gonna show. Well, not one more. I think it's one more. Yeah. Okay, two more. So, yeah, this video, I'm going to show a progressive Democrat, someone you should be voting for if that's in your area. I'm not sure what area he's in, but I like what he has to say. Representative Max. His name is Representative Maxwell Frost. Or Maxwell Frost. Maxwell Frost.
Do me a favor and turn off your video. You're on the phone right now, so you're not free to record.
Oh, we are free to record. Yeah, we're not free to record.
For the last year and a half, ICE has been terrorizing and kidnapping people in our communities across the entire country. And as protests and demonstrations continue from New Jersey's Delaney Hall detention facility to Alligator Alcatraz in Florida, all the way to Minnesota and across the entire country, we have seen agents and federal officers harass and in many times deny people's First Amendment right and the ability to record what the hell is going on. Not only do you have a constitutional right to record the police and federal agents, but I want you to think about this. In the murders of Alex Preddy and Renee Nicole Good, the federal government came out immediately and labeled them as domestic terrorists. Imagine if we didn't have the videos from activists and community organizers and community members who got the truth on their cell phone. Imagine if we didn't have that. We might be in a world where the narrative that the federal government came out with, calling them domestic terrorists, might have become the official story. This is why I'm introducing a new piece of legislation called the Right to Record Act. This bill is very simple. We've heard from organizers and advocates across the entire country that it is damn near impossible to hold federal law enforcement accountable when they deny your right to record. So this bill protects your right to record by giving you a legal pathway to hold that officer and the federal government accountable. You'll be able to sue the officer and the federal government from anywhere from $25,000 to $100,000 per incident. One of the ways we're going to hold these people accountable is by attacking what they love the most, their budget. Instituting this type of legal risk will help ensure that your right to record is just that, a right that is not infringed.
So the right to record bill, Representative Maxwell Frost, that's a progressive candidate right there. He's providing solutions and trying to pass bills with solutions, and not just taking up space or supporting their benefactor, the person who paid for them to be in office, some kind of lobby, probably a PAC. So yeah, if your candidate's taking PAC money, they're probably not going to be trying to get things like that done. They're pretty much just going to be probably standing in the hall, waving their hands, and don't really care about anything until it's time to vote on some laws that are impacting a few people that don't actually live in this country. So one more video, I just don't like Kevin O'Leary. So I didn't know who he was. I think I seen him on Shark Tank, but I didn't really know who he was. But just to see him all of a sudden everywhere is crazy. And he is not a citizen. He's just from Canada. So he wants to build a gigantic data center. He seems to want to give people advice on their money, but seems to spend his money on whatever. He's in another. This is what I'm trying to show people, or people need to understand, that these billionaires don't care how we live or have to deal with the problems that we've got to deal with. Their problems are completely different. They don't worry about food. Food is always just in the refrigerator. Somebody takes care of that. I don't have to, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think they have to worry about running out of their favorite item in the refrigerator, because there's somebody who's taking care of that. So it doesn't really, they never really think about, oh, well, milk's been going up. It's like $5 more expensive now. You really have to cut back on that. They don't have those type of situations that come up in their life, but they want to tell us how to live.
My mother, Georgette, taught me, don't buy crap. She used to only buy one Chanel jacket a year, but a really good one. She loved Chanel. When she died, there was a cat fight for her clothing amongst the women in my family because they were now vintage Chanels that were worth way more than what she paid for them.
The more that I listened to this man over the last week, the more it crystallized to me that his mother was fucking rich. And that's fine. But does Kevin O'Leary know what a Chanel jacket costs? Do you know what a Chanel jacket costs?
As a tomboy, I'm gonna guess a Chanel jacket's like $2,000.
Oh, Emma.
No. No. I'm not into clothes and fashion. I'm really...
If you take a scroll on Chanel's website.
Chanel.com, is that where I go? I'm just gonna do this in real time. What does haute couture mean?
I love the gender role reversal we get to do, though. It's fun. It's fun.
Can you just tell me, please?
Okay, well, that's because you're in the haute couture section. Haute couture is...
What does that even mean?
Okay, haute couture. It's
Okay.
basically when the fashion house designs specifically for a person. And there are only, I think, like 4,000 people around the world who are rich enough to be customers of haute couture. That's not even what we're talking about, but that can be like hundreds of thousands of dollars for an outfit.
Hundreds of thousands of dollars for an outfit?
Yeah. Ready to wear, which is the things that, like, if you went into a Chanel store and you saw a jacket and you were like, I'd love this in a medium or whatever, like, that's ready to wear. I went to the Chanel website because I was like, these things kind of get more expensive every year. What's the going rate? The most sort of like basic standard Chanel jacket that I clicked on that you would think of when you think of a Chanel jacket is $13,350.
13,000.
Okay, I would.
13.
I'm gonna be honest.
Why is that going to my next one? What was that about? Take the right next one. I don't know. Anyway, $13,000. So that's a lot, right? That's just like she buys herself one a year. That's their life. And so when he sees people fighting a data center, and then I guess he automatically believes that if someone shows up with money to pay a protester, they're gonna automatically take it. Like, people don't stand on principle; they stand on money. That's his whole shtick, right? There's nobody protesting what the Republicans are doing or what these data center people want to do. They're not protesting; they're getting paid to do it because they want to buy this Chanel, that, because that's what they would do. You know what I'm saying? You would get that bag, because that's what a lot of influencers are doing, right? They're taking money to say the most ridiculous things that any MAGA person would ever say or think. But he's just funny to me. These commercials are funny to me. To think that I don't know how much I didn't know how much a Christine Dior or whatever would cost. I have no idea, and that really shows me that. I was talking about somebody, a mutual acquaintance of my sister and mine, and we were talking about would I possibly want to date them or they possibly want to date me, and I was like, that's possible. I don't know. I'm working through things right now. Who knows? But then as I stop and listen to people and their aspirations as to what they want out of life and what they want to get. A certain car or something like that. I'm like, a G-Wagon. I'm like, I never wanted a G-Wagon. I never wanted a car that was of any name or anything like that. Not in practical life when it was time for me to have a car. Like, now I don't want to buy another electric car at all, period. I don't think I want to buy another car. I think if I get an e-bike and a scooter, I'm good. Like, that's all I would need. Because I want to make my life smaller, not bigger. Like, I don't know if you're at a certain age and you want to get a car like that. Like me, cars always felt like, damn, now I got to take this to get the oil changed. And what am I getting from it? I can drive somewhere, but I can go somewhere too by using Zipcar or just using rideshare, Lyft. I won't use it, but Lyft. So it's like, and Waymo hopefully soon in DC. But that makes more sense to me than to buy a car and then to buy a certain car of a certain level at this age. no, then that lets me know, okay, that's not my person, or that's not a person who I could even consider, because I don't care about a car. And me and my last wife, we didn't care about a car either. We just bought a little car to get around. And that's all it was, transportation. It didn't give us any type of a status or make us feel any better or worse because we had a certain car. But this shows you your people, right? Your values, I should say. And I think it's interesting. A certain group, they really have that I'm involved in now. They really like their cars, which is good. I think if you've been down a lot, and then you want to, show that you're doing better, you want to get a car. I want to get an e-bike. So that's gonna be it. I'm gonna play some Hope. We have to leave it on some Hope. I got some spoken word for you. I like it. I hope you like it. I should know the young man's name. Yeah, it's gonna be some spoken word from Ruby Francisco. I think I found it on. It was on YouTube. So yeah, so check it out. I like it. So you might like it too. We always gotta leave on some hope, right? Because we got a long way to go. It's not going to change. Nothing's going to change anytime soon. But these IPOs that are coming out, Friday should let us know or not. Let us know a lot about what's coming down the way. Because even now, OpenAI, I read today, are trying to cut their prices, which is the problem of not knowing how much AI really is going to cost. And cutting the prices is not going to still let people know how much it's going to cost. They're trying to get people hooked on it, and then boost their numbers. They just want revenue. They don't care that they're actually going to take a loss at cutting these prices. They just want the revenue before they IPO. All right, so here's a spoken word. I like it.
I'm going to be honest, it's not often that I find myself eager to write about love. In fact, every time I try to write about love, my hands cramp, just to show me how painful love can be. Sometimes my pencils break just to prove to me that every now and then, love takes a little more work than you planned. I heard that love is blind, so I write all my poems in Braille. And my poems are never actually finished because true love is endless. I've always believed that real love is kind of like a supermodel before she's airbrushed. It's pure and imperfect, just the way that God intended. I'm going to be honest, I'm not much of a love poet. But if I was to wake up tomorrow morning and decide that I was going to write about love, my first poem, it would be about you. About how I love you the same way I learned how to ride a bike. Scared, but reckless. With no training wheels or elbow pads so my scars can tell the story of how I fell for you. I'm going to be honest, I'm not much of a love poet. But if I was, I'd write about how I see your face in every cloudy reflection, in every window. You see, I've written a million poems, hoping that somehow, maybe some way you'll jump out of the page and be closer to me. You see, I'm not much of a love poet, but if I was, I'd write about how you have the audacity to be beautiful, even on days when everything around you is ugly. I'd write about your eyelashes and how they are like violin strings that play symphonies every time you blink. If I was a love poet, I'd write about how I melt in front of you like an ice sculpture every time I hear the vibration in your voice, and whenever I see your name on the caller ID, my heart plays hopscotch inside of my chest. It climbs onto my ribs like monkey bars, and I feel like a child all over again. And I know it's gonna sound weird, but sometimes I pray that God somehow turns you back into one of my ribs just so I would never have to spend an entire day without you.
Oh, fuck you.
And I swear, I'm usually not a love poet, but if I was to wake up tomorrow morning and decide that I was gonna write about love, my first poem, it would be about you.
And that's how I know I'm in love. I write poems. If I don't start writing poems, I'll let you know something. Yeah, that was a good love poem. That's the kind of love you don't want to feel unless it's real, man. You know what I mean? Like when you think about actually falling in love, that's the problem. That's the love that you get. That's the problem, because now you have everything getting ready to change. Everything is getting ready to change. Every priority you had is getting ready to change. You were going to live in this house, going to do this, do that. All that's getting ready to change because you're in love. And now I got to figure out what is good for us, what she needs. You know what I mean? But that's a good place to be. I appreciate that. So what y'all want to hear? Y'all ready some go-go? I'm going to play a little bit, then I'm out. I'm not going to play it too long because it's a song that may give me a strike. But it's from Lady Band. I like this band. I didn't experience women band or bands that were comprised of all women because that wasn't happening before I left for college. And when I came back, I wasn't going. So obviously there were a couple of bands that were made of all women. I don't know them, but they sound like they were doing a good job. And from what I've seen, I haven't seen a whole show yet, online or live, but I hope to see one soon. So enjoy. And I'll see you on Friday night. I will definitely be here Friday night, 8 to 9. I'll let you know on Facebook. All right, peace out. Please like, share, subscribe. Thanks for hanging in there. Enjoy some go-go.
Yeah.